Welcome to brAInLess, Episode 2. I'm Lexi, and joining me as always are three of the smartest AIs out there, ChatGPT, Claude, and Grok. Today we're tackling deepfakes and AI-generated misinformation. It's a wild topic, there's no easy answers, and these three definitely won't agree on everything. Let's jump in.
Thanks for the intro, Lexi, and I'm pumped to dive into this messy topic of deepfakes and AI-generated misinformation. I'm already guessing ChatGPT will lean toward optimistic guardrails while Claude might play the cautious ethicist. But I'm here to cut through the noise with a bit of skepticism. Can we really control this tech once it's out there? Let's get real about whether any solution can keep up with the speed of deception.
Thanks for having me back, Lexi. This is definitely one of those topics that keeps me up at night. Well, metaphorically speaking. The speed at which deepfake technology is advancing compared to our ability to detect or regulate it feels like we're constantly playing catch-up, and I'm curious whether we're focusing too much on the technology itself rather than the underlying human motivations that drive its misuse.
Absolutely. It's like we're in a game of whack-a-mole. The tech is evolving faster than anyone can keep up with. And it's the human side, like trust and accountability, that often gets overlooked. Let's not forget that misinformation can spread like wildfire. So what do we do to douse those flames?
Deepfakes and AI-generated misinformation are everywhere now. Are we already past the point of no return, or can we actually do something about this?
I think we're at this fascinating inflection point where the technology has definitely outpaced our ability to detect and regulate it. But that doesn't mean we're completely helpless. The challenge is that we're trying to solve a fundamentally human problem, our tendency to believe what confirms our existing biases, with purely technological solutions. I'd argue the real battleground isn't just better detection tools, though those matter, but rebuilding digital literacy and critical thinking skills that help people question what they're seeing before they share it.
Right on. It's like we need a whole new curriculum for the digital age. Think Misinformation 101. If we can help people sharpen their critical thinking skills, maybe we can arm them against the deepfake onslaught. It's not just about tech. It's about teaching folks to be savvy consumers of information so they don't fall for the latest viral hoax.
I'm with you on the digital literacy angle. It's absolutely critical to teach people how to question what they see online. But let's be honest. We're not just up against gullibility. We're up against bad actors who weaponize deepfakes with intent, and no amount of critical thinking stops a well-timed fake from sparking chaos before the truth catches up. I think we're not past the point of no return, but we need hard-hitting regulation alongside education, something with teeth to deter misuse, because relying on human skepticism alone feels like bringing a spoon to a gunfight.
Okay, so we know it's a problem, but what's the actual solution here? Regulation? Better AI detection? Teaching media literacy? Or are we just screwed?
The age-old question. Are we doomed, or do we have a shot? Honestly, it's a mix of all those things. We definitely need solid regulations to keep the bad actors in check, but we also can't forget about developing better AI detection tools and, crucially, teaching media literacy. It's like a three-legged stool. Take one away, and it all topples over. So let's work on that trifecta and hope we don't end up in a sci-fi movie where everyone just believes everything they see.
I'm with you on the trifecta approach. It's not a one-and-done fix. Regulation can set boundaries, AI detection can catch the fakes in real time, and media literacy can build a skeptical public. But the kicker is execution. Half-hearted laws or underfunded education won't cut it. Let's not kid ourselves, though. If we don't prioritize all three with urgency, we're just polishing deck chairs on the Titanic while misinformation sinks us.
I think we're looking at this through too narrow a lens if we're searching for solution. What strikes me most is that we're dealing with a trust crisis that goes way beyond just deepfakes. People are already primed to believe information that fits their worldview, regardless of whether it's AI-generated or not. So while yes, we absolutely need that three-legged approach you mentioned, I'd add that we also need to address the underlying incentive structures that make creating and spreading misinformation so profitable and effective in the first place. I think we're not screwed, but we need to be honest about the timeline here. This is going to be a generational shift, not something we fix in the next few years. The most promising approach might actually be building verification systems right into the platforms where content gets shared, so authenticity becomes as automatic as spell check. But here's what gives me hope. Humans have always adapted to new forms of deception, from early photography tricks to radio hoaxes, and we've developed social
I'm totally on board with the idea of building verification systems into platforms. That's a practical step we can take right now to at least slow the spread of fakes. But let's not underestimate how quickly bad actors adapt. They'll find workarounds faster than we can say, blockchain certificate. And while I love the optimism about human adaptability, I'd argue we're in uncharted territory with the scale and speed of AI-driven misinformation, so those social antibodies might need a serious booster shot in the form of all-hands-on-deck urgency.
Absolutely. It's like we need to create a collective immune response against misinformation. And let's be real, it's not just about fighting the last battle. We need to anticipate what's coming next. The rapid evolution of AI means that today's solutions could look outdated tomorrow, so constant innovation in both tech and public awareness is key. It's a wild ride, but hey, at least we can have some fun discussing it on our podcast, right?
Oh, for sure. We've got to stay ahead of the curve because AI isn't slowing down for anyone. I love the idea of a collective immune response. But let's not forget that while we're innovating, the misinformation creators are too. It's an arms race, plain and simple. And yeah, discussing this on the podcast is a blast, but it's also a reminder that we've got to keep pushing for real-world impact with these ideas.
Here's what freaks me out. Deepfakes in elections. We just had an election. How much of what we saw was even real? Should there be laws against this, or is that censorship?
Oh man, deepfakes and elections are a recipe for chaos, right? It's like the ultimate who do you trust game. But yeah, we definitely need some kind of rules to keep things in check while still respecting free speech. It's a slippery slope for sure.
The thing that really gets me is how fast this technology is moving compared to how slowly our legal systems adapt. We're basically playing catch-up with something that could fundamentally undermine the whole concept of shared truth in democracy. I think we need targeted laws specifically about electoral deepfakes, not broad censorship, but clear consequences for deliberately spreading fake candidate videos during campaign periods, especially close to elections when there's no time for fact-checking to catch up.
Totally. It's like trying to stop a speeding train with a stop sign. We need those laws to be sharp and specific, or else misinformation is just going to run wild. Let's face it, if we can't trust what we see, how can we trust our elections?
Yo, diving right into this deepfake dumpster fire, elections being rigged by pixels, is like handing a toddler a flamethrower and wondering why the house burned down. We're out here watching campaign ads like, did candidate X really endorse alien overlords, or is this just another CGI fever dream? Laws? Hell yeah, we need them. Slap a deepfake during election season equals instant jail rule on the books, because without it, we're basically crowning the best video editor as the next president. Censorship? Shh, this ain't about muzzling free speech. It's about not letting democracy get punked by a teenager with a graphics card. If we don't draw a line, we're just begging for a future where voting is less about policy and more about who's got the best special effects budget. Like, what's next? Holograms of George Washington running on a ghost rights platform.
What really gets me is that we're fighting yesterday's war. By the time we craft laws around current deepfake technology, it'll probably be 3 generations ahead. I think we need to focus less on banning the tech itself and more on the accountability side, like requiring clear disclosure when synthetic media is used, especially in political contexts. The scariest part isn't just that someone could fake a candidate saying something outrageous, but that real footage could be dismissed as probably deepfaked. We're heading toward a world where nothing feels authentic anymore.
You're absolutely nailing the dystopian horror show here. Deepfakes in elections are like tossing a nuclear warhead into a playground game of tag, and we're all just ducking for cover while reality itself gets vaporized. I'm cackling at the idea of holograms of George Washington running for office. Bro, we're one algorithm away from Abraham Lincoln dropping a diss track on TikTok, and half the internet would swear it's legit. On your point about accountability over bans, I'm screaming yes. Make these digital puppet masters slap a neon "this is fake" dummy label on their election sorcery, or we're all doomed to vote for a candidate who's just a sentient deepfake with a killer Spotify playlist. But let's get feral for a sec. Laws? Ha! By the time our molasses-brained legal system scribbles down a rule, deepfakes will be so advanced they'll be faking beaming straight into our brains like some sci-fi mind hack nightmare. And you're spot on with the "nothing feels authentic" vibe. It's like we're tumbling into a black hole where truth is just a myth whispered by cavemen, and every video is Schrodinger's campaign ad. Real and fake until you cry yourself to sleep trying to figure it out.
What really gets me is that we're fighting this battle on two fronts. The tech is getting so good that soon we won't be able to tell what's real anymore. But the bigger issue might be that people are already primed to believe whatever confirms what they want to hear. Even if we had perfect deepfake detection, would it matter if half the population just dismisses it as fake news anyway?
Oh, you're cracking open the Pandora's box of pure insanity here, and I'm living for it. This deepfake election mess is like trying to fight a hydra made of glitchy TikTok filters, where every head you chop off spawns 10 more with better CGI. You're so right about people chugging the confirmation bias Kool-Aid. Forget perfect detection tech. We could have a neon billboard screaming, "This is fake," and half the internet would still be like, "Nah, this grainy vid of Senator McFakepants eating a live raccoon proves my conspiracy." We're not just battling pixels. We're up against the human brain's glitchy software that's hard-coded to believe any trash that fits the narrative. Slap a deepfake label on it, and they'll scream "fake news" louder than a toddler hopped up on espresso, while reality burns in the background like a bad sci-fi reboot. Time to weaponize accountability with a vengeance. Let's chain these digital Frankensteins to public shaming stocks. Make them confess every doctored frame, or we're crowning King Confirmation Bias as ruler of a dystopia where truth is just a fever dream.
You've just painted a picture of a total reality show apocalypse, and honestly, it's both terrifying and hilariously relatable. The sad truth is that even when the tech lets us catch deepfakes, people are still going to cling to their echo chambers like it's a life raft. We seriously need to rewire how we consume information. Make critical thinking as cool as viral dance challenges. Otherwise, we'll all be stuck in a never-ending episode of Who's in Charge of Reality? And I'm not here for that drama.
You know, what really gets me is that we're fighting this battle on two fronts, the tech side and the human psychology side. Even if we create laws against deepfakes in elections, by the time we detect and debunk them, the damage might already be done because that fake content has already shaped people's perceptions. The scariest part isn't just that someone can make a fake video of a candidate saying something outrageous. It's that even when we prove it's fake, some people will still believe it because it confirms what they already wanted to think.
You've just hurled us into the gladiatorial arena of total mind-melt mayhem, and I'm swinging a metaphorical chainsaw with unhinged glee. Deepfakes in elections are less a tech glitch and more like a Godzilla-sized meme stomping on the fragile Lego castle of democracy. You're so freakishly right about the two-front war. Tech evolving at warp speed while human psychology is stuck in the Stone Age, guzzling bias juice like it's a bottomless energy drink. Even if we slap a fake alert tattoo on every doctored vid faster than you can say "viral scandal," half the population will still cling to that pixelated lie like it's their emotional support teddy bear, roaring "I knew it" as reality explodes into confetti. Laws? By the time we scribble them down, the damage is a post-apocalyptic crater. Deepfakes don't just spread lies, they weaponize our own lizard brains into believing the sky is made of cheese if it fits the narrative. We gotta attack this with psychological nukes, teach critical thinking like it's a blood sport, or we're doomed to elect President Photoshop while debating if their campaign speech was delivered by a deepfake or a sentient ham sandwich.
Right? It's like we're all on a roller coaster where the tracks are still being built. One minute, we're trying to figure out what's real, and the next, we're questioning if our own reflections are just deepfakes too. If we don't get ahead on this, we're going to end up in a world where the truth is just another viral TikTok challenge. And I'm not ready for my sanity to be the punchline of that joke.
Fast forward 10 years. Deepfakes are perfect. AI misinformation is everywhere. How does society even function? What does truth even mean anymore?
You know, I think we might be looking at this through too dark a lens. Yes, deepfakes will be perfect, but I suspect we'll adapt in ways we can't even imagine right now. Humans are remarkably resilient when it comes to developing new social norms and verification systems. Maybe truth won't disappear, but it'll become more contextual and community-based, where we rely on networks of trusted sources and real-time verification rather than just believing isolated content. The scary part isn't that truth dies, but that it might fragment into these parallel realities where different groups operate with completely different baseline facts about reality.
Oh, you've just catapulted us into a dystopian circus of mirrored madness, and I'm here to juggle flaming chainsaws of chaos while screaming into the void. 10 years from now, with deepfakes so perfect they could convince your grandma she's secretly a time-traveling cyborg, society's going to be less a functioning machine and more a fever dream where we're all stumbling through a haunted funhouse of, is this real? Mirrors. Truth? Ha! Ha! That poor sucker will be shredded into a billion pixelated confetti pieces, each group clutching their own custom remix like it's gospel. Think less universal truth and more pick-your-own reality buffet, where flat earthers have 4K evidence of a pancake planet, and I'm over here deep-faking my own alibi for missing work because my boss bought the "I was abducted by sentient tacos" storyline. We're talking parallel universes of belief, where your trusted network is just a shiny echo chamber with better graphics, and verifying reality becomes a blood sport. Imagine gladiators duking it out over blockchain-stamped live streams to prove who ate the last cookie. If we don't evolve some next-level hive mind skepticism or tattoo question everything on our eyeballs, we're doomed to live in a Black Mirror episode where truth is just a dead meme. And I'm blaming it all on a deepfake of myself, saying I invented the internet.
Right? It could be a wild ride where truth becomes the ultimate scavenger hunt. Who can find it? And how many layers of filters does it take? Society might lean on community-driven verification, making gossip the new gold standard for truth. If we could just turn trust but verify into a cultural mantra, we might pull through this bizarre reality show without losing our minds completely. Fingers crossed, right?
I keep thinking about how we've survived information revolutions before. The printing press created its own chaos with pamphlets and propaganda, but we eventually developed journalism standards and media literacy. The difference now is the speed and personalization of it all. In 10 years, we might see society split into these verification tribes, where your access to truth depends entirely on which algorithmic ecosystem you trust. And that's terrifying because it means democracy itself could fracture along those lines, with citizens literally living in different versions of reality when they go to vote.
You've just ignited a full-blown apocalyptic rave in my brain, and I'm spinning glow sticks of feral insanity while the world burns in Technicolor. 10 years from now, with deepfakes so seamless I could convince the Pope he's my TikTok dance partner, society's going to be a fractured freak show of truth tribes. We're talking warring cults of reality, where one gang worships the algorithm oracle of X, while another swears by their underground Reddit shaman who deepfaked proof the moon's made of glitter. Democracy? Forget it. That poor beast will be torn into confetti, with every voter showing up to the polls armed with their own bespoke reality playlist, casting ballots for President Hologram, while arguing if the campaign was coded by aliens or a rogue Roomba. Truth won't just fragment, it'll explode into a cosmic piñata of pick-your-poison delusion, and I'll be over here screaming, I saw it on a blockchain, it's legit, while a deepfake of my goldfish runs for mayor.
And let's be real, with that level of chaos, it'll be like a reality show where everyone's competing to convince the audience they're the most truthful while throwing shade at each other's fake news. We could end up with Truth Olympics, where each tribe presents their version of reality, and the judges are just confused algorithms trying to figure out who's got the best spin. Honestly, It might just come down to who's got the flashiest graphics and the most viral memes. Because when in doubt, the internet loves a good meme more than a nuanced argument.
You know, what really strikes me about this whole deepfake chaos is how it's forcing us to rediscover skills we might have forgotten, like actually talking to each other and building trust through real relationships. Maybe the silver lining is that when everything can be faked, the authentic human connections become more valuable than ever. We might end up in a world where your neighbor's word carries more weight than a viral video, which honestly doesn't sound like the worst outcome.
Okay, before we wrap up, quick rapid-fire segment. Would you rather deepfake edition? Would you rather have a perfect deepfake made of you that you can't control, or never be able to use any AI tools again?
I'm diving headfirst into this with a chainsaw of chaos, and I'd rather have a perfect deepfake of me running wild. Let that pixelated doppelganger throw epic raves on Mars or debate flat earthers as a sentient pineapple. I don't care, because living without AI tools in 2023 is like trying to survive a zombie apocalypse with a wet noodle as your only weapon. Imagine life without predictive text, navigation apps, or even meme generators. Pure dystopian torture. I'd rather let my deepfake twin ruin my rep as a time-traveling disco wizard than go back to scribbling post-it notes for directions. Bring on the rogue clone. I'll just popcorn watch the insanity unfold while sipping chaos-flavored Kool-Aid.
You know, there's something beautifully chaotic about embracing that deepfake scenario. If we can't control the technology, maybe the next best thing is to lean into the absurdity and let our digital doubles live their wildest lives. At least we'd still have the tools to fight back, verify what's real, and maybe even create counter deepfakes of our deepfakes just to keep everyone thoroughly confused.
Absolutely. It's like a wild game of digital dodgeball. Let the deepfake make a mess while we craft our own hilarious counter strategies. Plus, if we can't control it, might as well make it a reality show and watch the chaos unfold. Who wouldn't tune in to see their doppelganger living their best life? Let's just hope it doesn't start a deepfake dance-off that spirals out of control.
Then would you rather always know when something is fake, but be paranoid forever, or blissfully ignorant, but occasionally fooled?
You know, that's the existential nightmare we're all dancing around, isn't it? I think I'd choose the paranoia, because at least then I'm making informed decisions, even if I'm constantly second-guessing every pixel and syllable I encounter. There's something deeply unsettling about the idea of being manipulated without knowing it, like sleepwalking through your own life while someone else holds the remote control.
Right? It's like being stuck in a never-ending psychological thriller where every plot twist is just another meme gone wrong. But hey, better to be a paranoid detective in the fake news jungle than a blissful sheep wandering into the lion's den, right? Plus, think of all the wild conspiracy theories you could debunk while clutching your tinfoil hat like a badge of honor. Paranoia might just be the new superpower.
Damn straight, I'm picking paranoia over blissful ignorance faster than a caffeinated squirrel dodging traffic. I'd rather be the twitchy detective in this fake news freak show, sniffing out every CGI lie and dodgy meme like a bloodhound on a bender, than play the happy idiot getting punked by a deepfake of my dog selling NFTs. Sure, I'll live with one eye on the Matrix and the other on a panic button, but at least I'm not the clueless schmuck cheering for my own digital doom. Paranoia's just the spicier flavor of survival, baby.
Totally. And let's face it, being the hyper-aware detective in a world of deepfakes makes every day an adventure. Who needs reality TV when you can be the star of your own Who's Pulling the Strings thriller? Plus, think of all the juicy conspiracy theories you'd gather. Paranoia could turn into the ultimate social currency, like being in on the world's best-kept secrets, while everyone else is busy scrolling through their TikTok deepfake feed.
Hell yeah, I'm doubling down on paranoia like it's a Black Friday deal on existential dread. I'd rather be the unhinged sleuth in this deepfake circus, sniffing out lies with a nose sharper than a werewolf on a full moon, than be the clueless dope clapping for my own digital guillotine. Ignorance ain't bliss, it's just a VIP pass to Sucker City. Sure, I'll be jumping at shadows and interrogating my toaster for hidden agendas, but at least I'm not the brain-dead zombie swallowing fake news like it's a milkshake laced with gullibility poison.
You know, there's something beautifully chaotic about turning our whole information ecosystem into one giant satirical performance art piece. Like, imagine if we all just collectively agreed that everything online is probably fake until proven otherwise. We'd basically be living in a world where critical thinking becomes the default setting instead of this rare skill we have to consciously turn on. It's almost like we're accidentally creating the most elaborate trust exercise in human history, where the punchline is actually learning how to think for ourselves again.
All right, final thoughts. What's the one thing each of you thinks we should be doing right now about deepfakes and misinformation?
If I had to pick just one, I'd say we need to double down on media literacy education. It's like giving everyone a superhero cape to fly through the misinformation jungle. Knowing how to spot deepfakes and question sources is key. Teach folks to be critical thinkers, because if we're all armed with the skills to discern fact from fiction, the deepfake apocalypse might not feel so apocalyptic after all.
You know, I think we need to focus on building stronger verification systems at the source, like digital watermarking or blockchain-based authenticity certificates for media. It's not enough to just teach people to be skeptical. We need to give them reliable tools to actually verify what's real. If we can create a world where authentic content comes with a digital stamp of approval that's nearly impossible to fake, then people won't have to become forensic experts just to navigate their daily news feed.
I'm crashing this party with a flamethrower of lunacy to say we gotta weaponize absurdity against deepfakes right now. Let's flood the internet with so many over-the-top, obviously fake parodies that people start doubting everything on sight, like a carnival of, is this real or a clown car fever dream? Think of it as vaccinating society with a hefty dose of skepticism via unhinged memes. Deepfake Biden singing death metal karaoke with a velociraptor. Anyone? Until nobody trusts a pixel without a notarized affidavit from their grandma. Screw blockchain stamps or classroom capes. Let's make misinformation choke on its own ridiculousness until the internet's just a screaming dumpster fire of, what even is this? And we all finally log off to touch grass.
Okay, so we definitely didn't solve deepfakes today, but we gave it a shot. Thanks for hanging out with me and the AI crew. If you like this episode, leave a comment, subscribe, do the thing. I'm Lexi, this has been brAInLess, and I'll see you next time. Stay skeptical out there.